What are you hearing about, again, tonight's game? Doug Peterson was like, it's Wentz, it's Wentz. If I go to Hurts, that indicates that the season's over. Then in the middle of last week, there was a little bit of wiggle room suddenly created when he introduced some conditional phrasing when asked if Wentz was his quarterback, and he said, I would think so. And now Hurts, we're hearing, took some snaps with the ones over the weekend. Are we going to see Jalen Hurts significantly tonight, do you think?
I think Peterson's starting to get some heat from above. I was surprised by the report from Jeff McClain of the Philadelphia Inquirer over the weekend that last Sunday, Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the team, skipped the game in Cleveland out of frustration with the team. And I want to say to everyone connected to the organization and all the fans in Philly, you still have a Super Bowl trophy that wasn't minted all that long ago. But I just feel like for a lot of those folks, getting a taste of a championship created a sense where they want to be in contention far more often. And they're sticking with Carson Wentz, or at least they have stuck with Carson Wentz, because they are stuck with Carson Wentz at least through 2021. He's got $25 million for next year. No one's going to touch that in trade. Not even a Brock Osweiler trade is going to get that deal done where they give somebody draft picks to get Wentz off their hands. $25 million on a cap that's likely going to be $175, and they just got to make it work. And my guess is everybody's on the hot seat next year. Get through this year as best you can. Try to make a late push like last year. They were 5-7 before they woke up, won their last 4 games, and won the division. I don't know. Maybe that happens this year. But the difference was Carson Wentz had it last year. He doesn't have it this year. It'll be interesting to see if they see Jalen Hurts on the field tonight and how much, whether it makes a difference, whether that wakes up Carson Wentz. I still feel like he is trying in one fell swoop to justify everything that they've done that shows faith in him, from trading up to draft him to picking him over Nick Foles to giving him the big contract. I feel like he thinks with one play, with one decision, with one moment, he can make it all right. And I just think he's trying too hard to make the Eagles look good for riding with him as long as they have. And it just feels like next year it's going to be make or break for Carson Wentz.
Well, I mean, you're more attuned to the dollars and cents than I am, Mike. You know, I'm more of a narrative, big picture guy when I do my job. So I'll ask you this. Is there any comparison where in this era, this new era, if you will, where best player out of college becomes the highest paid player in the history of the franchise ever since they changed that we saw somebody drafted high, gets paid. They do win the Super Bowl in the window in which he was on his first contract, but he wasn't the one who won it, does get paid, and then within a year regresses to the point where you're wondering if he's even viable. This is new, right? Since they changed the draft rules in terms of the contracts and who gets paid what. This is like a unicorn, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, usually with a franchise quarterback, you know early that he's going to be a franchise quarterback, and once he reaches that level, he's always there. You have it or you don't, and you don't have it and then lose it, and that's what's so weird. It's the Steve Blass all of a sudden losing his control. That takes us way back.
Good baseball
back when I actually cared about baseball. But that doesn't happen to quarterbacks. That's why it's always such a safe investment, relatively speaking, in comparison to other positions. You know, you pay a running back, you don't know what's going to happen. Pay a receiver, you don't know what's going to happen. Pay a defensive lineman, you don't know what's going to happen. Pay a quarterback, he's just going to keep doing what he's done. No big deal. That's what makes it so stunning, and that's why I still think that one of these days, when you consider how cheap it is to go out and reload the cannon with a first-round quarterback, one of these teams is going to say to a guy who objectively is good enough, is going to say, sorry, we're just not doing it. Sorry. And we're not going to do the franchise tag dance like Washington did with Kirk Cousins. They did that 2 years before they let him walk. Just from the moment the contract expires, we're not in this. Or go hit the market. Go see what else is out there. And then after you see what else is out there, if you want to talk, maybe we'll talk. But I expect that to happen at some point. I thought it was going to happen with Jared Goff, frankly. I thought that's the direction the Rams were moving in, and based on yesterday's game, you could say maybe they should have moved in that direction. But between Goff and Wentz, back-to-back top of the 2016 draft, they both got paid, and I think there's reason to wonder whether those contracts should have been given out to both guys, even though Goff right now clearly performing significantly better than Wentz.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.